Welcome back to Just Saying. Today's conversation hits deep, and beautifully so. My guest, John Dedakis, spent over 4 decades in journalism, including 25 years at CNN. He's interviewed presidents, covered riots, and edited major stories. But behind those headlines lies a man who's faced his own profound losses, losing both his sister and his son. Instead of breaking under the weight, John turned to writing. He's now the author of 6 political thrillers, a manuscript editor, and a coach who helps others transform grief into growth. Today, we're diving into what it means to write your way out of heartbreak, out of fear, and maybe into healing. Let's get started. Hey friends, welcome back. I'm here today with John Dedakis. He's a novelist and a former CNN journalist. Welcome to the show, John.
Hi, Jessica. It's good to be with you.
We were talking off camera, but I'm like super excited and nervous because I just, I work for a television station too, and I work with journalists a little bit here and there, but I just really love journalism. I just think it's an awesome, well, first of all, I love novelists too, because I'm starting to become one. And so on 2 fronts, I'm just excited to have you on the show. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Okay. So you spent like 4 decades. Well, we won't age you, but
You just did, but that's okay.
You spent like quite a while in the newsroom. And you even covered the White House, right?
I did the last 3 years of Reagan. Yeah.
And I love Reagan. Do you mind sharing like what drew you basically to journalism in the first place?
What drew me to journalism was the Vietnam War. My dad was a lawyer, and I was going to go into practice with him and then use the law as a stepping stone to get into politics. But the Vietnam War intervened. And I didn't go to Vietnam, but I had orders to Vietnam. But they were changed at the last minute to Germany. And I spent 2.5 years at the American Forces Network in Frankfurt, Germany, doing interviews for a special events radio unit. And the first interview I did was with this guy named Alfred Hitchcock. That's what I said. You may have heard of him. I mean, this was a mentoring moment, because my boss could have done the interview in his sleep, and he trusted this kid not to screw it up. And that's when I found my calling. And so after the Army, I went back to school, got my degree in journalism, and never looked back.
Well, thank you for your service. So no matter how far back it goes, I mean, you did serve your country. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And yes. And okay, so is there one story or moment? Well, besides that one is actually pretty cool. From your reporting years that's like sticks with you? I mean, it probably is that one, but
well, there actually is another one that had kind of a lifelong effect, and that was when I was covering the White House when Reagan was president, and we did a piece on the White House press corps versus the president. And so we followed Larry Speakes around for a day. Larry was Reagan's press secretary at the time, and we got into the Oval Office and spent the whole day with Larry. And the takeaway was that it is, by definition, an adversarial relationship. It was Larry's job to make Reagan and his policies look perfect. It's our job as reporters to find out what's really going on.
Right.
And so that just is naturally going to create friction. So no matter what the president's party is, the president doesn't always like his press coverage. And what I learned is that it's a firing offense to make things up at a reputable news organization. And so what ended up happening is that journalism is one of the backdrops that undergirds all 6 of my mystery suspense thriller novels.
So those years basically, well, in hard news shaped you kind of your storytelling in your journalism, right?
Exactly. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Which is amazing. I bet you have. Okay, so your books are. First of all, tell me what your latest book, because you've got like 8, 7,
6.
Okay,
there's a seventh is in the pipeline.
Yes, I'm like Kreskin. I knew that. No, I'm just teasing. Okay, so what's your latest book that is out currently?
For the most recent one is called Enemies Domestic. The title is taken from the oath of office that government officials take to pledge to protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign
Foreign and
and
domestic.
domestic. And so
Right.
my protagonist, I write as a woman, and she is White House press secretary. It's her first day on the job. She's pregnant. The dad is dead. She's ambivalent about becoming a single mom. Abortion is a crime. And the first question she's asked in the daily briefing comes from a Tucker Carlson type who asks, "Are you or are you not planning to abort your unborn child?" And this thrusts Lark into the middle of this highly toxic and polarized fishbowl. And as it turns out, a dictator becomes president. It could never happen, but there we are.
Well, some people might say some people might think it might happen or that it's happening, but I'm like you. I'm in the. It's not going to happen in America.
I'm not so sure I'm with you on that. I think it's already happening.
You think it's already okay? Well, we're not going to go. We're not going to. We're not
We
going to.
won't go there. We won't.
We're not going to skip through those lines because I mean, we all, everybody feels a certain way and sees
Yes.
things differently, and so your books, I've heard you say that they're grief and journalism baked like into fiction.
Yeah, absolutely. And that you look, I teach people how to write, and I'm a writing coach and a manuscript editor. And one of the things that I've learned over time is that, you write what you know. And so in my case, grief and loss has informed all of my stories, going back to when I was 9 years old and witnessed a car train collision that killed 3 people, including a kid my age. My sister took her life in 1980. That's the very first scene of Fast Track, my first novel. I was on the scene that day, so writing about it was a catharsis. Moving forward, my youngest son died of a heroin overdose in 2011. So that story, that collateral damage, is part of my protagonist's story in Bullet in the Chamber, which is book 4 in the series. So, it's I look back and I see, oh, I've been processing my grief all these years.
Right. So in that book, what was the name of that book with
The
Clark?
bullet in the chamber, and Lark
Bullet in
Chadwick is
the-
my protagonist.
And she, I because I have some notes on that. She's young and driven, and complex, right? And
Yeah,
how much of you lives like inside her character?
Oliver, all of
All
me.
of her, all of it.
Yeah,
How
I
did
mean, I'm not a woman, but I've
right?
have plenty of women in my life who, told me what it's like to be a woman. And the commonality is that emotions are not gender specific. We all have the
Right.
same ones. It's just that in my experience, the women in my life are more willing to share their emotions, and they've got a more varied emotional palette.
Do you think that readers connect with like characters that are like deeply flawed? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they like when you have somebody that's so perfect. I actually am writing a romance novel, and I kind of feel like one of my characters the whole thing is too perfect, in a way, in some ways. I mean, I try to write her as a flawed person because she's got like insecurities and stuff like that. But the whole situation, I always think back and I'm like, well, maybe the whole situation is too perfect because no relationship is actually that way. But
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You need to bake in shortcomings to your protagonist. I mean, even Superman has, the Achilles heel of kryptonite. And if you're creating a villain, you don't want to create a villain who's perfectly evil, because think of the villains in your own life. Chances are they put their best foot forward. You may even have married them. And so you want to create villains that have redeeming qualities as well.
yeah, like mine. I mean, I'm off topic here, but like my villain, her arch nemesis, Emery is my main character. So her arch nemesis is Becca, and she is perfect. Her hair is perfect, and she's always put together. Like she always looks perfect on the outside, but inside she's a hot mess. The villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and she's like, she just doesn't like the fact that Emery is with this one person. So it's kind of, and it's a romance novel, but yet I don't even know if it's actually a romance novel because it is 49 Shades of Gray in some ways. But, but it's got like a little bit of thriller in it and drama. So it's
Well,
kind
it's
of
good
like
it's good to
I,
have, elements of a lot of different genres in there.
Yeah. I think it's and at the end, it's kind of like a cliffhanger, which will bring you into book two because it's going to be like a 3 or 4 book series.
Okay.
Do you write like, because I write, like, I just sit down on the blank screen and I'm just like going. I go for it. Like
That's
by the seat of my
yeah,
pants,
that's harder for me to do. I can do that, but I generally have an idea of where I'm going.
like an outline.
Yeah, not yeah, sort of a loose one, but I leave myself open to serendipity. And the thing I've discovered is that even though I may have a plan, it's never thought out completely enough. And so, I'm always having to try to figure out how am I going to get from point A to point B because I hadn't thought that clearly about it. And so if I can get my characters talking, then the spooky power of the subconscious shows up.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I can't believe when I write, it comes out so quickly. Like it took me 2 months to write my memoir. I mean, not like anybody needs to know about my life, but I've had some crazy stuff and some trauma like you.
Yeah.
My high school was one of the first high school shootings in America in
Was that
1992.
Columbine or,
Nope, before Columbine.
my?
Yeah, 1992. And in fact, it happened May 1st. And so the Rodney King verdict came out on April 29th. And then ensued the riots, and the 30th came. And then the next day was our school shooting. One of our former classmates came into the school and shot up the school, killed 4. One was
Oh,
a teacher,
oh,
and
man.
he shot 9 others, brutally shot them, and held 80 kids hostage for like 12 hours.
My goodness.
Yeah.
And what road how involved were you?
Okay, so my sister was there. I graduated the year before, but I heard about it. I drove right to the school immediately, and then my mom was there. How I wrote the story was I just told about what we were all doing, and my mom was actually sitting with one of the families that got the bad news, and he was one of the heroes. It makes me want to cry, but this young lady, the guy put the shotgun right to this little girl's face, and Beeman pushed her out of the way and said, "No." And then he carried the full brunt of the blow right to the head, and laid on the carpet dying for 30 minutes while all the kids could hear him.
Oh my god.
Isn't that terrible?
It sure is.
But what I happened, my sister got out, but so we all decided to help our community the best we can. And so I went around to my neighbors, and I gathered, because there was a big crowd out front of the school, and I gathered blankets, and I went to KFC and got like 10 buckets of chicken, and I went back and I fed and like got everybody warm. And then right as I came back to the schools, when we found out that we had some casualties, and these are friends of ours, so
Yeah.
I went to
Yeah.
school with them. They were on my track team. They were friends of mine. So terrible. And so I wrote about it in the book. And like you said, it's cathartic. Like, you learn so much about yourself in your writing, and you
Yep.
come at the end of the writing, you come to some realization about all the things you've been through in your life, or the things that you wrote about. And you actually come out on the other side like, thank God I wrote this book, because it really helps. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I do. Duh.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm like preaching to the choir. So
But still, people are sort of eavesdropping, and I think you are a very upbeat, outgoing person, and as traumatic as that was, it didn't cripple you.
right.
You are still engaged with life, and you've moved forward, as have I.
Right. I mean, I cannot. What they actually did a movie about our high school shooting, and Ricky Schroeder, from Silver Spoons, was in it, and so was Freddie Prinze Jr. and Henry Winkler. Like, we all know him, the Fonz.
Sure.
Yeah, and so it's called something. I can't remember it now. You
Well,
gotta buy my book.
check out Henry's filmography, and
Yeah,
you'll
that's
find
right.
it.
Target of Rage is what it's called. Target of Rage. Seed at Johnson High. Target of Rage, and it's on primetime Amazon Prime. So, okay, back to you. So, so yeah, you take grief, you take the things and you put them. It'll help you shape your characters, right? Like, so Lady or Lark Chadwick, right? Lark
Yep.
Chadwick.
Yep.
She carried with her probably some of the same feelings that you had. And so, how is it writing for her? Like you're a dude, no offense, but how is it writing for writing a girl? Like how you must really be a ladies' man if you know all the ins and outs of a female. I'm just
Ah,
saying.
well, there was one woman at CNN who said, "You're a real ladies' man without being a ladies' man," because I've been happily married for 47 years,
Oh,
and
congratulations!
so,
That's
but
awesome. 28 years, sir.
well, congratulations to you too.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I was at CNN 25 years, and that's 25 years worth of young women in their early to mid 20s who would tell me their stories about their jobs, their relationships, their families, and their careers. And I would listen and I would ask them questions about what it's like to be a woman. And what I discovered is when you're listening, you're learning.
Mhm.
Guys really could learn a lot from that little technique. And and then of course a lot of these women became my beta readers and told me when I was getting it right and when I had to, go back to the drawing board.
Well, that's really smart. Smart. Um, yeah, women or men are from Mars and women are from Venus was a book in the late 90s, I think, or mid 90s. And it's so true. Like, we just want you to listen and you want to solve the problem. And we're not asking you to, we're just asking you to just to be there. Give me a hug,
Right.
you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
um, okay. So, um, Lark, she's a woman and she's highly resilient, right? So, I mean, how there goes my dogs. This is real life, people. I've got French bulldogs, and they were like they are protecting me from the person at the door. Anyways, what has she taught you about resilience? And also from a man's perspective of women's resilience. Does that make sense?
I think it does. Yeah. I mean, I think Lark has a lot better qualities than I do. We share some qualities, but I've put her in a lot of terrible situations and she's gotten through them. She's reacted like that, but it's taken me, weeks to figure out, oh, how's she going to get out of this one? Real life doesn't work that way. Um, but yes, she's definitely resilient. And, I think that I would argue, and it's just an assertion, you'd have to talk to my wife, but I would argue that writing as a woman has made me a better man.
Aw, that's actually
because because I've seen a lot of the mistakes that men make and realize how much they're missing by not listening to the women in their lives, but, feeling like they got to explain everything or just being dismissive. It's amazing to me the stories that I hear about what women have to put up with.
nowadays. I think if my husband was like you and wrote a book and just started listening to me, I'd be like, whoa, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this. It's like midstream. You can't change. No, I'm just teasing. Um, so let's talk a little bit about the craft of writing, if you don't mind. So you're a coach, right? Let me just ask you real quick. So I have it written down, and I'm not sure if my notes are correct, but you went through like 14 major revisions.
That's right.
Like how long? I mean, and you went and you tried to get like 39 agents before finding success in
That's right.
in
Yeah,
publishing,
the
right?
the agent that I've got is the 39th agent that I queried,
What?
and it took me 10 years to find her. And so I tell my writing students, take good notes and I'll save you 9 years in the process. Because I mean, look, I wasn't working on the book all the time. I had a full-time job at CNN, 3 kids, all that kind of stuff. So there were times where I wasn't able to write, but it does take a long time, or it did take a long time, just because I was learning as I went and I was making a lot of mistakes, but learning from them.
I mean, like, what keeps you going? I mean, that's like a long time.
Yeah.
I was mad because okay, mine got my first book, Bucket List from a Redneck Girl is what it's called. but it, but it was because I'm from a small northern California town. But it was published through Christian Faith Publishing, and it took a whole year. My edits were really fast because they didn't have a lot of editing to do. Um, because I did a good job. I'm a good writer, actually. Turns out. Um, and can you hear those dogs barking? By the
Oh,
way,
sure, but that
okay.
adds texture.
I really want to scream at them. Everybody, take a second, take a beat. Hold on one second.
Yes.
There. I'm surprised.
Yes, the
My,
voice.
I have so I have Whitney, she's the mom, and I have Ricky Bobby is the dad, and Opie is the son. And once they have someone they hear somebody at the door, even it could be down the street or across the street, they will bark at the door.
Of
And
course.
until I tell them to shut up, they will keep going. So okay, okay, so we're back on. Okay, so how do you keep going at a 10-year process? Was that 10 years for your first book?
First book, yeah.
Oh my lord!
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kept going because I knew I was getting better. And I was going to a writers' conference, the same one that met at the University of Georgia in Athens. And I would go there all the time. And I was always learning and getting good feedback from the people who were reading it. And so that gave me the incentive to keep going.
I mean, do you have advice for people that are writers that feel like, oh, it's too late for me. I'm
Oh,
old.
no, it's
I,
not too late. No,
and
it's never too
maybe I
late.
won't be good enough, or I mean, I could tell people. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, there might be people out there like, oh, I always thought I could be a writer, but they think they can, or they thought they might be, but then they don't. Like my son's that way. He's like, always thought I'd be a writer. I'm like, Parker, open up your computer and start. Like, just start.
Exactly. I mean, look, I think if you've got the desire to write, that's half the battle. But you need to take the long view, and you need to realize it's work, and it's not just going to boom magically happen. You are. It's a long grind, but it's worth it if you have the desire to do it. One of the things that I think can really hamstring someone is when they start to compare themselves to someone else and they go, "Oh, I'm not as good as them."
Like I'm
And
no Judy Bloom.
right, but you're unique, and if you're not like one of the writers you emulate, get better. Look at what it is they do and figure out, well, how can I do that? Just get better. If you've got the desire, then that I think will, more likely lead to your success if you apply yourself and take the long view and get better and keep practicing and working at it.
Do you have or well, your agent got you to a publisher, right? Or do you
That's right.
self-publish
Yeah.
any of your books?
No,
No?
that's why you have an agent. The agent opens the door, and
Yeah.
because there are a lot of publishers that don't accept unsolicited manuscripts. Although publishing has changed a lot since then, and it's now much easier to get self-published or get published through a hybrid publisher.
Which is like what I went through, it was like a
Yeah,
hybrid.
yeah. I mean, if you really have the desire to write a book, you can get it out there even today if you upload it onto Amazon. It'll suck because there's no editorial oversight,
Right.
and so,
That's why I
it's
went
up.
with the hybrid because I wanted that, second set of eyes and
Yeah.
advice and all of that, and then I hired a book promoter, which they not great, but I'm doing more of it, seems like myself, but it's better than a sharp stick in the eye, as my dad would say. Um, and so, yeah, so that's kind of how that went. I just don't, what, can I ask you a question? I mean, I probably should have learned this by research, but who have published, what publisher have you gone through?
Well, Arca Books was my first publisher. They went out of business at the beginning of COVID, and amazingly, a new publisher came along called Speaking Volumes. And so 3 of my books are with them, and 3 of my books are with Strategic Media Books. It's one of those rare things where one series is with 2 publishers. We're in the process of migrating everything to Speaking Volumes, but for now, that's the way it is. I'm very fortunate. I'm with my agent. I've been with her for 20 years. A lot of those relationships don't last. a lot of publishing, my books are still in print. That's not always the case either. So I've been very, very fortunate.
And so you're obviously all over Barnes and Noble and Amazon, and you're all over, right?
Well, Amazon is probably the best place. Barnes and Noble, they'll carry a book for a very limited amount of time unless it sells, mega well.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
you can get my books easily.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about that towards the end because I always make sure we have a call to action. We want to know where we can find you. And okay, so but I'm still not done picking your brain. Okay. Um I'm sorry. I totally had a brain fart. Okay, so when sorry. Okay, so can I ask you a question? Because I know that, you've been through some terrible losses. Terrible. I mean, I don't know, a suicide and an overdose, and I mean, definitely seen something traumatic like a train crash when you're so young, and that's just terrible. I mean, all those things are terrible. Um, did you use writing at all as like a form of therapy? Or I mean, I know that at the end of writing, we always see back, and it helps you understand kind of your journey and why things happened the way they did. But I mean, do you feel like it's a form of therapy for people out there that maybe are struggling, and this could be a way to like they always say journaling, right? Like, oh, journal your thoughts. But like
Sure.
writing it down in a story and making your life a story, or making a fictional story out of something that you've encountered in your life. I mean, that's like therapy, right?
It is like therapy, although that's not the way I approached it.
Okay.
I approached it just because I wanted to get a book into print, and I was drawing from personal experience, which happened to be painful, which is, great grist for fiction. Um,
Right.
it was cathartic, but I look back now over 20 years and I can see the therapeutic component that was there, not even consciously or by intent, but it was a byproduct of the writing process. But now I'm actually at a point where I do teach classes and lead writing workshops and do keynotes on writing as a way to heal from grief. And not just to the writing community, because grief and loss are universal experiences. And it doesn't even mean you have to have lost a loved one. It can be the loss of a pet, a job, a relationship, your innocence, your health, the loss of civility in public discourse. Any number of those things can create, profound feelings of loss and pain and grief.
I feel like my whole life is
And
grief.
let me just, sorry, what was that?
Keep going. I'll tell you in a second.
What I was going to say, just to button it up, is that journaling or writing stories or poetry or dance or music or art, any one of those things can be an effective way to process those feelings.
So get creative, people. Don't retreat. Don't coil and say I can't. You can just say I can, and you just start writing. I mean, we all have computers, and you don't have to do it on a on a on a typewriter or a word processor that sounds like crazy. And we have technology, and we've got computers now. I bet you that makes it a lot easier. Did you start when you had a typewriter?
Well, when I was a kid and I was just, playing around with it, it was on my mom's, Royal typewriter. But when I first started writing, it was, it wasn't a laptop, it was a PC, and the keyboard clattered.
Okay, so can I ask you a question? Kind of personal. You don't have to answer if you don't want. So you've had like so many life experiences, like legit more than I could probably even imagine, and you've seen a lot, right? Being at the White House and working for CNN, and probably all kinds of crazy things that you've seen throughout the years, different stories. And you've had some career highs, right? And some imaginable losses, which we talked about. But with all that aside, what does happiness mean for you?
That's
That's
quite
all
a
the negative?
Yeah,
Let's
right.
bring it
That's
to
a
the
sharp
light.
turn. Um, I would go a step further and actually want to describe joy. I mean,
Okay.
to me, happiness is more superficial.
Yeah.
It can be being in a good mood. But I think joy is deeper, because the joy to me is certainly it's happiness. I think that's a component of it, but you can be full of joy even if you're being sober minded about and realistic about what life has been about. There's something intangible and transcendent and spooky about, I think, being able to capture joy in spite of life's problems. I think I'm just sort of making this up as I go, but I think it has something to do with having a glimpse of a sense of meaning and comfort and maybe even fulfillment in your present moment. It's very much a present moment thing.
Right. So true. And also, okay, happiness, but joy. And I know 47 years of marriage isn't
Well,
always
it wasn't all
not
joy.
always, but if you look back at it as a whole, that is a major accomplishment that not a lot of people can say they've done or can do. Not a lot of people out there are staying together anymore. They're not working on it. I'm just definitely somebody that believes like it's it's actually easier to stay together than it is to be apart. That's the way I look at it.
Well, the way my wife puts it is, it's
Cheaper
a
to
lot
keep her.
more it's a lot more of a hassle to get a divorce.
Yes. Right, right.
Fortunate we also get along, so that
Yeah,
helps.
but that's the other thing too is me and my husband get along. Sometimes I'm a brat and he's like he'll call me out on it. But I get over everything easily. I don't hold grudges against people.
I believe that.
Yeah, I think if you hold grudges and then it just makes you just stinks up your mind.
Well, it's corrosive.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a dying something in your brain. It's like it stinks it up. But you're corrosive is a better word. See, you're a better writer than me. You can come up with the word, and I cannot come up with the word. Um,
Stinks works. Stinks
stinks.
works.
That's funny. Tell me a little bit about your coaching. Let's dive in a little bit to that because I'd like to talk about that. And what do you hope people? And I guess a two-parted question, but what do you hope people take away from your book or your coaching?
Well, I think the main thing I want them to take away from the books is just being entertained, engaged with Lark. It means so much to me when I hear from someone who has read one of my novels and, comes to me and goes, "How's Lark doing?" They continue to think about her after the story. That means a lot. I really hope that they come away with a better understanding of journalism. Unlike what some presidents will tell you, it is a firing offense at a
It's a lot.
reputable news organization to make things up. And so, I mean, I started writing this before journalism was particularly, controversial. I mean, it's always been, but, it's only intensified. And so what I've ended up doing is giving people a glimpse behind the scenes so that they have a better understanding of the good, the bad, and the ugly of journalism. What else do I think that's good for now.
I kind of agree with you too, and I do believe that journalism, you're there to provide your community and the community at large. Well, CNN is an at large net broadcast, but you're there to because I work for a company too.
Yeah,
And I know the journalists are there to provide the truth, to give you a fair representation of what's happening in your community.
that's
And
right.
if it's broad, it's for the world, and you're gonna take down, what you see, and you're gonna bring that back to America. And I think that's important.
Yeah, fair and accurate. I think fair and accurate are the two hallmarks.
Yeah. I sometimes question if all people have the same scruples as you and have the same morals and ethics that
Not
is important.
necessarily because we're all human and we're flawed.
Yeah, I mean we all have our own perspective, and so I might peel my onion a little different. Although you don't really peel onions, by the way. um I mean,
Mix a metaphor,
I, I guess it's peel a potato. I don't know. I guess you unravel an onion. I don't really know.
You can chop potatoes too.
Yeah, you can chop. Yeah, there's different ways to chop a potato. See that's a better one. That's a funnier one. You can dice it. No, I'm just teasing. I won't go into that. So okay. So what's next for you? What you're working on another book though, right?
Working on another book. My wife and I wrote Enemies Domestic together. She was my alpha reader. We came up
Oh,
with the idea together, and the process was, you come down. We talked about the idea. I'd come down here to a blank screen. There's that despair moment where it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Got my characters talking to each other. Finished a chapter. Elation. I'd go back upstairs, show it to Cindy, and then we're talking despair again. And so it was the circle of life. And that actually worked. It's won 8 awards so far this year. And so we're going to use the same process. We are using the same process on book 7.
so can I ask you a question? It sounds
Sure.
like a total blonde question, but so your books are they all political thrillers or?
It's evolved to a certain extent. The first 2 are more cozy in that, the violence is pretty tame and, I mean, it's profound, but, it's not it's not gory. There's no swearing. That comes later. So the first couple are more mystery and, mystery suspense, and it's evolved so that, there have been elements of politics in all of them. But Enemies Domestic is pure political thriller.
I love that because first of all, I love everything mystery. I love actually I mean, I'm not a B movie horror film person, but I do like good written horror films that are, makes you think and that are I just really I love thrillers, I love horror films, but I'm writing in a genre that I have no clue anything about. It's like, why did I pick this? I just felt like I wanted
You know something about
I mean,
romance.
I guess it just started pouring out of me and I felt like I had to go there. But I was thinking after this, because it's like a fireman, but it's like the fire series. I think I was thinking about doing a political romance. That was actually my next thing because, there's a yin and yang, there's the two sides, there's all kinds of stuff.
Man.
There's
Oh,
Romeo and
yeah.
kind of thing. They
Yes.
can't be
Oh, yeah.
together.
There's a lot of grist there.
Yeah, so I kind of thought that might be my next go round, but so I just thought I'd mention that because I'm just really enthralled by the fact that it's political thriller. And you know what I'm saying? I think it's a great genre. You like picked the best, and well, first of all, you picked kind of in your lane because you've got a lot of life experience. In that. Did you ever sit back and you're sitting in the briefing room like that would make a good book, or
All the time.
really?
Oh,
Okay,
sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
that's awesome.
So many
Uh,
stories, so little time.
Yeah, that's crazy. If you're out there and if you are a journalist, start writing them down because you never know. You might want to start writing a book about the crazy things you've come across in your experience, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so where can everybody find your book? And do you have a website?
I do. My website is myname.com. So it's johndedakis.com, and I'll spell it because it's a tricky Greek name. It's John, D as in dog, D as in dog, Kis as in Sam,
The
johndedakis.com.
Dedakis. Love
Yeah.
that. Okay. The other thing is you can find his book on Amazon, right?
Mhm.
And on Apple Books or any of the other little places.
Probably.
Just go to Amazon. Actually, if you go to my website, www.jesssaying.net, that's JESSSAYING.net, and you go to podcast, you scroll down, you see John Dedakis, Dedakis. Dedakis.
Well said.
You click his name and it'll take you directly to his website.
Yep.
And then you can research him a little bit that way as well. So there's another place out in the world where you can find his name and click and it'll go directly to him. And so I just want to say thank you for coming on to my tiny little podcast. I appreciate you.
This has been fun. You're a really fun person, and I so appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about this stuff. And the what's so counterintuitive is that we talked about some heavy things, but you've got a nice light touch, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it can't all be doom and gloom, people. You got to have a little joy. Boy, just saying. You got to have a little joy in your life, right?
Yep, absolutely.
It's all about that. I do appreciate you coming on, and thank you. And then for everybody out there, just remember that we all share this world together. So be kind to one another, and have a great night. Have a great day. Whatever it is you're having right now, have one of those. All right. Bye bye.
Gather around when the sun dips low, talking about the days we used to know. VCR tapes and dial-up tones, raising kids living with achy bones. Leather jackets and big hair days, now it's carpool lines and PTA. Neon dreams turn into schoolyard fights, but our hearts glow in retro nights. We are Gen X, living both worlds. From cassette tapes to a digital world. Parenting now with a nod to the past. The retro love we know will last. We are Gen X, living both worlds. From cassette tapes to a digital world. Parenting now with a nod to the past. The retro love we know will last. We dance to the beats of the boombox sound. Now bedtime stories echo all around. But deep inside we're the mixtape kings, still fighting life with arcade dreams. Feeding families with a pizza slice, telling tales with a side of advice, laughing at the way it used to be.